Hi, my name is Robert Oncoy, and in this video, I'm going to take a look at a special paragraph called the narrative paragraph. As you might have seen in my previous video, The Anatomy of a Paragraph, we see that there's a basic structure that looks like a hamburger. The top one is the topic sentence, which introduces what the paragraph should be about. Then I said a good paragraph will have two or three burger patties, which are the support sentences. This provides the meat and substance of the paragraph. Now, for each burger patty, we want some flavor. That's where we get our detail sentence. These provide extra details, descriptions, explanations. And finally, we have the concluding sentence, which wraps up the whole paragraph with a bow. Okay. Now, as you may recall, in the previous video, we looked at the basic structure of a paragraph, and we saw that there was a top one or a topic sentence. Yeah. And we build on that topic sentence by asking the question, why? And we ask that three times to create three burger patties. These are three aspects of that topic sentence that we were going to explore. Then that's followed by these flavorful detail sentences, which gives us explanations, cause and effect, reason and result, or it might be examples. And then we finally wrap things up with the bottom bun, our concluding sentence. Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, a narrative is like a story, and narratives don't look like that. Well, if you ask them that question, you're right. So that means that we need to look at how we organize the ideas for a story or narrative, but still keeps the basic structure of a paragraph. Now, if you like reading comic books, then you know for a fact that comics are a great visual example of a narrative. We have action that happens in this pane and continues into the next box, and you keep reading in sequence. It's a linear storytelling. Okay. Now, perhaps you might have learned this in school, but in case you haven't or you've forgotten, a good narrative, a good story has five basic parts. We start with an introduction. Then we go into rising action. Something begins to happen. Now, there might be some conflict building. There might be some tension building. And then there is the third part, climax, followed by falling action, what happens after the most exciting thing. And then we end the story or the narrative with a reflection. What did I learn from this? What was it like? So going back to our hamburger paragraph structure, what does this look like? Well, your topic sentence is where we start the story. Where does it begin? What happened? When did it happen? This is our setting. And then you tell me, using a controlling idea, what what's the main idea of your story? Was it a scary day? Was it a happy day? A day you'll always remember? We follow that up by our first support sentence and detail sentence, where we start describing what happens in our story. What tension or difficulty do we encounter? Then we get to the climax. How suddenly, all of a sudden, when out of the blue, something happens. That's our climax. And then after that happens, after the worst or scariest or most amazing thing happens, what happens right after that? This is our falling action. And finally, we end with our concluding sentence, our lessons learned. Let's take a look at two different topic sentences and see which one is better. I remember the first time I learned to ride a bike. Okay, well, the topic is learning to ride a bike. Does that mean the controlling idea is I remember? I mean, so what? Who cares? Now, you could theoretically start telling a real life story like this, but I don't know what to expect. Was it a good experience or a bad experience? How about this? The first time I learned to ride a bike was the scariest day of my life. Wow. The topic here is the first time I learned to ride a bike, and the controlling idea is scariest day. Now, this is a great sentence because it also acts like a hook. It hooks the attention of the reader. Now I have questions. Why was it scary? What happened? Now, a lot of my students, when they write normal paragraphs, they have trouble with the detailed sentences. This is no different when it comes to a narrative paragraph. So first, let me show you what this narrative paragraph looks like with just the topic, conclusion sentence, and 3 supporting sentences. You can pause the video right now and read the story to yourself. I'll continue after you hit pause. Okay, now I'm assuming that you've already read the story, so let's jump back to it. With the supporting sentences, we see 3 things. First, when I was 6 years old, my father surprised me. This is the first part of the story. Then I see what happens that day, a little bit after that surprise bicycle. I'm practicing and I felt confident. And then I see a climax or suddenly a car entering. Bam! A new event has happened. So we have a first and then a next. This is the basis of a sequence, a story sequence. And then we have the conclusion. Now, if you told a story like this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic sentences to anyone, they might say, oh, wow, okay, that was a short story. They got the main idea, but it probably isn't the most interesting story. We could add more color to it with detailed sentences. Now, in a typical paragraph, a detailed sentence can be a cause and effect, reason or result, relationship, detail, or it could be an example. Here, when we write a narrative, we can use details like dialogue. We could use, further details about that one incident you described in the supporting sentence. Let's check this out. The first time I learned to ride a bike was the scariest day of my life. When I was 6 years old, my father surprised me when he picked me up from school. Look at what I got you, he said, and showed me a pink Barbie bicycle. I was so happy. After an hour of practice in the school parking lot, I felt confident with riding my bicycle. You're an expert, Papa smiled. I was so excited. I didn't look where I was going. And suddenly, a car entering the parking lot saw me and stopped in front of my face. Papa picked me up and took me and my bike to the van, and we went home. In the end, my fear of riding a bicycle became so strong that I never tried again. And there we have a sample narrative paragraph. The detailed sentences provide extra detail of what people said, how I felt, how they felt, and what happened after. Okay, so you've made it to the end of this video. Thank you. Basically, this video has shown you that a narrative paragraph is not really so different from other paragraphs. It's still structured like a burger. Now, your burger can have 2, 3, 4, 5 burger patties, but it's always good to have detailed sentences to come up with all of them. So, what do we need to know for the narrative paragraph? Our support sentences tell the actions in the story. They note building action and sudden changes. Detailed sentences can be dialogue. What did Papa say? What did I say? It can describe the feelings or the thoughts of the people in the story. And our concluding sentences can wrap up or restate the topic sentence or transition to the next paragraph. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.